Why did many communist regimes collapse in the late 20th century? In recent discussions, the collapse of communist regimes in the late 20th century has captured attention. Many are curious about the reasons behind this significant historical shift. As we look at current events, understanding these past changes can provide context for today's political climate. Several key factors contributed to the downfall of these regimes. Economic problems were at the forefront. Centralized planning in communist economies often led to inefficiencies and stagnation. This resulted in shortages and an inability to meet citizens' needs. Over time, these economic struggles created frustration among the populace. Political repression played a major role as well. Communist governments typically maintained control through authoritarian measures. Suppressing dissent and limiting freedoms led to widespread dissatisfaction. As citizens grew increasingly unhappy, the legitimacy of these regimes began to erode. By the late 20th century, the ideological appeal of communism was fading. The promise of equality and prosperity lost credibility. Capitalist countries were demonstrating economic growth and higher living standards, which made communism seem less attractive. Attempts at reform also backfired in some cases. For instance, the Soviet Union introduced Perestroika and Glasnost in the 1980s. While intended to revitalize the system, these reforms exposed deep-rooted weaknesses. They accelerated demands for change rather than stabilizing the regime. External influences also played a crucial role in the collapse of these governments. The dynamics of the Cold War created economic competition with the West. Diplomatic pressures further strained communist states. In some instances, foreign interventions destabilized regimes, such as the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. Nationalism and independence movements also contributed to fragmentation. In multi-ethnic communist states, rising nationalist sentiments challenged centralized control. This led to further instability and, ultimately, collapse. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, many communist regimes in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union fell. However, some countries, like China, adapted by introducing market reforms while maintaining political control. This strategy helped them avoid the fate of their counterparts. As we reflected on these events, it is clear that a combination of economic, political, and social factors led to the collapse of many communist regimes. Understanding this history can provide valuable context for current global dynamics.